What is up, everybody? Welcome to a galaxy far, far away. Welcome to episode 10 of Shootin' the Sith. With me, you know who I am. I'm not going to introduce myself. You know me by now, whatever. But with me, two very special guests tonight. Upcoming podcast, right, Rick? It's coming. It's coming
It's
soon.
coming.
It's coming. But I got my man Darth Rick right here. Rick, give us a little. When is it coming? Tell us when it's coming.
It's coming probably in the next 7 days if I'm isolated here any longer.
That's true. Rick's under quarantine due to the family having the vid.
Yes. So. Everyone but me caught it, but I have to isolate.
Do you have Wolverine blood? Is that what it is? You can't get any diseases.
I didn't want to tell anyone. I didn't want,
He's an inhuman.
I wanted Doctor Strange Part 3 to come out before I said something.
Also joining me as usual, my man Don. What is up, Don?
Well, hello there.
2 weeks in a row. I love it. Yeah, we're good to go. Tell us a little bit about Am I on the Air?
Yes, sir. You know it. Am I on the Air, baby? Every Monday, your latest and greatest in entertainment news, television, movies, reviews, right here. So happy to be back on Shootin' the Sith. We got together last week, talked up episode 5, and we're all done, man. Show is over. Let's talk about it.
It's horrible. It's horrible that it's over. But it went out with what I thought was a phenomenal ending. A blast. I had a blast with this episode. Yeah, let's just jump right into it. The boss man is watching as usual, like the Jesus that he is from above, sharing out the show. Yeah, I'm not going to get into any preamble, anything. I just want to jump into this baby because
before you do,
go ahead.
I just say, cool to meet you. Before we got on here, before I found out you were going to be here, I was like, hey, who was that dude you had last week?
Nice.
No,
thank you.
You were a hit, Don. You were a hit.
I was like, when do I get to meet him? And then
here I am. I'm glad we were able to work it out. I know we were trying. We got this time zone thing going on over here. You know, I'm in Mos Eisley. He's over here in Tatooine. Like, it's hard, man. It's hard out here. But
I didn't mind. I didn't mind. Well, you're the one in the desert, Joe. So yes, true.
True. I'm the one in Tatooine.
What's the temperature there today?
Today's not bad. It's actually raining today, so it was only 99 today.
Only 99 in the rain.
A nice, cool 99 breeze with crazy. That water coming down.
That's awesome. All right, fellas. I mean, what can I even say? I was any doubts I had about this show was pretty much pissed away thanks to this last episode. I thought the last episode was fantastic. It answered quite a few questions that I had. A few issues I had with retconning or whatever you want to call it, totally washed away by this episode. Before we get into details, Rick, just give me your overall show feelings and what the last episode did for you.
So, we spoke about the first 3 a couple weeks ago, and I was just over the moon about the show in particular. Everything about it. I couldn't pick a flaw, even the actual flaws. I was all about it. I was sold in. I was loving the characters, loving Leia, Obi, everyone. I was all about everything. Never lost faith in this show at any point. And the way it wrapped up, I was like, if I was in a theater, I would have been in tears. I'm not gonna lie.
I think a lot of people were in tears after watching that. So, yeah, but yeah, absolutely. Don, what about you? I mean, now you can give your overall show synopsis, and what the final episode did for you.
Overall, the show was pretty good, pretty solid overall. Had some, ups and downs throughout it. But the finale, I don't think I could be more happier. Like, when that episode ended last night, I had a smile on my face. I was like, yes, that was great. It hit the marks for me, man. Like, I don't know, like I've heard some people nitpicking certain things here and there and getting real like in the weeds with it, and I'm just like, yo, like I got everything I wanted. We talked last week, we speculated like, what do we think we're gonna get? I was just like, give me another Vader Obi Wan duel, and we got it, and we got a badass one that will live forever. And it tied up all the loose ends. There was just the nostalgia, the feels. I mean, I was holding back some tears. I was like, dude, this is great. So I loved it, man. It was a fantastic finale. I wish we would have got that big 1.5-hour episode we were hoping we were going to get.
The rumor, yeah.
It was only about 45 minutes maybe after credits, but yeah, it was great, man. I can't complain.
Yeah, and it stuck to the theme that we had talked about last week, how each episode kind of mirrored the first 6 movies.
Mhm.
And this one is the same thing because they even stole a line straight out of Return of the Jedi for this one, which we'll get into. And well, you know what? Fuck it, let's just get into it because I can't wait. I can't wait anymore. So I mean, and there's nothing, there's nothing else really to talk about except we're gonna jump right into this fight, this battle. Oh, and again, Obi Wan once again kind of pulled. It's kind of like a Last Jedi thing, which I know we don't talk about too much. Uh, they were gonna get these like, listen, we're gonna get destroyed. I have to get off this ship. It's up to me to save you guys. And he does. He gets off the ship and they meet on this planet. And they said it's like a badass. I was expecting wrestling entrance music.
Yeah,
The way they were getting ready. Yeah, little Triple H music, little Undertaker type stuff.
You know what? Yeah, I was gonna say, I hear the dong.
Yeah, maybe Michael Buffer doing a little announcing. That would have just made it more sweeter. But like I said, let's just get into it. Just the Vader that we wanted. Listen, if you can say anything about Disney, whether you like what they've done or you've not liked, they have nailed Vader for us.
Yeah.
And Don, I know you're not a big Rogue One guy, but they nailed Vader.
Yep.
They've given us the Vader that we've all hoped for, Vader that we all wanted. They've given Hayden Christensen a little bit of redemption as far as, he wasn't in the suit 24/7. There was those stunt guys, there was other guys, and there was obviously he's not his voice until this one. But let's talk about round one. How fucking awesome was round one? And again, waiting for Obi-Wan to snap out of his funk, and he finally did. And we was like, I mean, Obi-Wan's got to be ranked. I rank him the number one as greatest Jedi of all time, not including, past Luke when he became a master. I'm still talking about Obi-Wan, number one. Defeats Maul, defeats Vader pretty much. Well, you can't say 2 out of 3 because he gave himself up in that last one. I'm saying he's 3-0 against Vader, personally. I'm saying that. So, Rick, round one. Let's just talk about round one first, where Vader thinks he's got him all dead and buried and put away.
Let me tell you one thing I noticed from round one, which, by the way, I noticed in hindsight and went back and watched it again. As soon as I finished this episode, I went back and I just started watching Rebels. And I watched, because of this fight scene, I went back and I watched Rebels and I watched Twilight of the Apprentice. Mm-hmm. And I didn't notice that these 2 scenes are the same scene.
Pretty much.
But during that scene, I noticed something that Darth Vader says, then you will die. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, he only says this to people that he doesn't really plan on killing. Because in that same episode, he tells I think it's Ezra, the younger one, the kid Jedi, he tells him, then you will die braver than most. I think that's when he's actually going to kill you. So that round one, that was one of the bigger things, was the dialogue, and then the lack of dialogue when he mistook him for Monica Rambeau and started dropping a ton of stones on him, thinking that'll kill him because he saw that kill Miss Marvel. And he didn't mention anything about having the higher ground at that point. I feel like he really
missed opportunity.
Missed
opportunity.
But we'll get into another major line that he said during that moment. Don, what do you think about round one?
Fantastic. I mean, just ready, I like that, like when they first kind of came up and it was kind of like, we don't have to do this. And he's like, you're going to die. And he was like, all right, like, let's go. And it was just great to see Obi-Wan like, let's do this, right? Because the last time we saw it, like, he was all fragile and he was like scared and he was like trying so hard and Vader's all one-handing him, just like kicking his ass. And it was just great to see this Obi-Wan be like, all right, you want to play it? Let's play it. And it was just fantastic, all the way up, until just the ground. I love the force push into the ground and the whole ground just rocks out. Like, going back what you said, Tim, like just the way Disney has handled Vader, like just the cool things, right? Like him doing the fire, like in the episode 3, like, and just the different things that he's done that's made him more menacing in like the Disney era, which is crazy. He's just been he's leveled up, man. Vader was always badass, but he's tenfold in this, on all these newer like versions of him, to where I really just want another Vader series. Like, I'm like, give me the Vader series on Disney Plus, right? Let's continue from this point, right? Okay, cool. I'm going to put Obi-Wan aside for right now and let's go. Like, what's some of these other adventures we're doing? I want to see more, Mustafa and all this other stuff. Like, I want to see what Vader's doing. I want to see him wreck shop, and that's what I want next from Disney Plus.
That would be pretty sweet. Now, being me, the anal person that I am when it comes to Star Wars, the one line, that I was very upset about from the original was, when I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master, which is why I didn't want to see them fight again, because I thought it took away from that moment.
Yeah.
It takes away from that. It takes away from that iconic line. It takes away from the fight from episode 4. But they said this is one of the things they did so well, even though there was some wonky special effects here and there, and maybe you don't like Reva, whatever the hell, this made up for it, because he says to him when he buries him, "You really didn't think you were going to defeat me, did you, Master?" Now, what does that say? That says that up until that moment, he still considered Obi-Wan his master, still considered him better. So that kind of clears up that thing from episode 4, which, again, blew my freaking mind, because I was worried about that. I was worried about retconning that fight from episode 4, which you can't do. You can retcon a lot of stuff, but you can't retcon Star Wars. I'm sorry.
Right.
No, I mean the original, I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I thought they cleaned that up extremely well. And I don't know if you guys picked up on that master line.
I did, because for me, it was, he remained in his little brother role, telling the big brother, like, I'm better than you now. And that's exactly how I took it at that time. I was like, little brother's still like, man, be your own man, bro.
Yeah, and so he buries him, pretty much tries to bury him alive, thinking he's buried alive. Obi-Wan gets all super strength, gets all the the flashbacks, the vibes, bursts the fuck out of this thing. And I love the way they did it to where Vader's walking away and then stops and does this little head shake and just turns around, and they're already going at it for round 2.
Yes. Fight.
And like you said, we've never seen, we've seen a badass Obi-Wan. We've never seen an angry, focused, like actual, I don't want to say hate-filled, I'll just say focused. Yeah. Like a real focused Obi-Wan Kenobi, what he could do. Holy shit. So now, Rick, round 2. Tell me what stood out from round 2 and how great was that?
The way, like I said, right after I saw this, I watched a bunch of stuff and went back and watched it again. This round 2 reminded me, like you said, about like the restless energy, like this, his fight with Darth Maul, he does the same thing. In his fight with Darth Maul, he starts like jumping up, hyping himself up. And then as soon as the door opens, he's like, bam. Like he's calm again. And to me, that was the difference in this fight, is that Anakin stayed hyped up. He was so emotional about what was going on. And Obi-Wan, on the other hand, was, we got to fight. Like he's a professional fighter. Oh God, the oldest guy. Was it Dooku? Who was it that fought Yoda? He was a professional fighter. And I think that's what we're seeing with the lightsaber duels from the original trilogy. There's some guys waving things around. And then in the second set, these guys were like amazing with what they were doing with the behind the back and the over the head and all that stuff. And then it went back to like simple sword fighting where Finn could beat, Kylo
Ren,
yeah. So to me, like this round 2 was just a culmination of all those sword fights and the differences between them and the advantages that people have. And in this fight, Obi showed a calm. All of his strikes were measured. He wasn't yelling as he swung strikes, He didn't land off balance. And I think that we saw a professional fighter fighting a brawler. Like that's how it seemed to me. Is Darth Vader looked like a brawler, and this guy was, I won't call him Mayweather because he doesn't knock anyone out, but he's Conor McGregor out there putting the left hand on him. That's how I saw it.
All right, like Don, what about you?
Like yeah, it's incredible. Round 2 was badass. What I loved was just the use of the Force in the fights in this series. Like we talked about it last week when Vader went against Reva and he was just kind of playing with her, right? Like just kind of shoving her and moving her and stopping the lightsaber. And I like that Obi-Wan and Darth Vader were doing that to each other in this fight too. Like it not only was just throwing stuff at each other, but it was the go back, like in the, just shoving them and then into the wall and then picking up the rocks and throwing the rocks at them. And just, I like the utilization of it more than just being a lightsaber fight. Because it honestly it would be really hard to top their fight from Revenge of the Sith, because that's just such a good duel. But like, I just like the utilization of the other tools, and then obviously the big blast against the mask and slicing that open and getting to see Hayden Christensen's face, and I just like even before that when they're fighting, like you hear him wheezing. It was kind of like in the suit, and you're just like, oh man, he's getting to him, right? He's getting flustered, he's getting frustrated. And then when the mask got cut, I loved so much the dialogue in that moment of Obi-Wan saying like, where's my friend? Like I just want to see my friend, and him being like, he's dead. And he was like, oh, well, that's sad to see then, and he was, and then he called him Darth after that, because he called him, he said Anakin Skywalker's dead, and he was like, all right then, Darth, like, and it was like that close of the chapter, to be like, all right, I tried to reach my friend one more time. He told me he's dead, he's gone, and then he made that full transition to, all right, then I guess you're Darth Vader at this point, and I'm gonna leave you to die, pretty much. But that scene was played out so well, not only just the dialogue, the fight, and I love the voice modulation in that scene too. Because the mask is cut, so you hear Hayden, but then you also get the durr, and he's like, no, that was great. Like, and I was like, damn, that's so tight. Like, oh man, that is gonna just stand out for me. It's just so badass.
All I've seen is TikToks and memes, and that fight, just that scene replaying over and over again. But how about Obi-Wan going for the Achilles heel, which is the box?
Yeah.
He went right after the box. He's like, you know what? If you're gonna bury me under a pile of rocks, I'm gonna go for it. And he started punching that box and hitting that. I was like, oh, and that's when the wheezing started. I was like, oh, here comes the wheezing.
Yep.
And like you said, when he chopped that man, and again, this is going back to stuff that I was nervous about, because again, everyone, he lied to Luke. He technically didn't lie to Luke. Darth Vader killed Anakin Skywalker, and this basically was that confirmation.
This was that moment.
That was this moment that shows why he told Luke what he did. Also, because Luke wasn't ready to hear the truth anyway, but still, that's why he told him.
Yeah,
Darth Vader betrayed and murdered your father. Didn't lie from a certain point of view, just like he said. But yeah, that scene with his half face, again, it goes back to Rebels, because in Rebels he fought Ahsoka and he got the same thing when she sees his face. But that was just like, I was like, oh, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. And then and even with all the hatred, he still had enough to give Obi-Wan, you didn't kill me. I killed me. I killed Anakin. That's a kind of a gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a one final gift from student to master, from brother to brother, friend to friend. Don't feel bad. You didn't kill me. I did. I did this. This is my fault. Fucking beautiful scene, man. I mean, the tears were already starting. When he started crying and apologized, I was like, "This is I can't be crying on the I can't be crying on the M train."
Sorry, Anakin.
Yeah, I can't be crying. I'm on the M train at 7:00 in the morning, fucking crying like an asshole. So I mean, and that whole
give it up to you and McGregor, man.
So great in that scene.
Seeing that you guys were super emotional, can we go off of some themes that I got from this scene? And I want to lob this at you guys.
Go ahead.
Ahsoka broke the right side of his mask in her fight. Obi-Wan broke the left side of his mask in this fight. His son Luke took his mask off.
Oh, you're going deep. You're going deep.
I feel like this Ahsoka was his Padawan.
Yeah.
And then he was Obi-Wan's Padawan. And that relationship, they're like, because of work, they have to have a relationship. And you can build a friendship at work sometimes. You guys got work friends, right? Now, Luke is his son. That's his son. And his son was the one to take his mask off. What do Jedis do when they find children that have the Force?
They take them
from their families.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to Jedis that are raised by their families? They turn to the dark side.
maybe,
okay? 50% of the time. So that's just that. Those are some family themes that I picked up in this. I just wanted to lob it at you guys because I've been on quarantine all day. What do you guys think about those kind of themes that I thought were there? They might not be there. What do you think about that?
Don, go ahead.
I love it. I think that's cool as hell. Like, say I was talking on last week. Like, I don't watch a lot of the animated stuff, so I didn't know. Like, I had heard people talk about the similarities with the Ahsoka fight and different things like that. But it's really cool to hear about the different side of the helmet. Kind of that full circle thing. I mean, you hear people say like Star Wars is like poetry and like things like that, and there's a lot of spiritual elements and everything. All the seeds that are planted and whether they meant to or not, like I love your breakdown because I think that's super cool to kind of have, like you said, his Padawan and then he's a Padawan and then it's like, and then coming full circle to his son, kind of getting back through to him and bringing it all the way back around to Anakin at the end of the day. So I think that's cool as hell.
Yeah, me too, Rick. That's a good way to look at it. A good emotional way to look at it. Yeah.
Well, I didn't tear up like you guys, so I guess I had to man up and be like, Derek Jeter batted 327.
But yeah. No, I like that. I like it, and I do. I agree with you. I thought that's how. I mean, I don't know how much they plan that, how smart they are. But I do feel like that's a great way to put it.
Doing something like that.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. Like I said, every episode was a copy of something that happened in the 6 movies. We went through that last week. I'm not gonna do it again. But yeah, and this fight too it was another emotional shit show for Vader because, like I said, he first is Padawan, and that is best friend, and oh my god! But it said the emotion that you get from you said Ewan McGregor deserves something. Because the tears came automatically. Like, I'm sorry.
Because he just admitted that emotion, whether it was just him talking to Leia or it was him, dealing with Anakin and his feelings. Because you could tell, like, he is so beat up about having to do what he did in episode 3. And it has, scarred him for life. And he's so sorry about it, even though he really had no choice.
Now, if the helmet doesn't crack, does he finish him off? I think the helmet crack is what seeing Anakin what kind of snapped him out of his I don't want to say his lust, like but he was so fucking focused.
But then even though we know we have to get to the other movies, but it makes you almost ponder for a second though, like he should have probably just finished him off because he left this Sith Lord that is now going to continue to wreck shop across the universe and how many other lives are going to be taken when he could have just ended it right then and there. Because now he goes back to protect Luke from ever finding, like, it's like, if you just think about it, if he would have ended it right there, like everybody would have had more of a peaceful life.
Well, I thought the exact same thing, but then you have to go to that whole, Jedi don't murder people. I'm not a murderer, So when Anakin got his chance, he fucking cut Count Dooku's head off, and that wasn't good for him. Like, you're not supposed to kill people. I'm gonna chop this guy's fucking head off. Okay, so I think Obi-Wan was like, listen, as much as I can and I want to and I should, I can't. I mean, if Vader made a move, he probably would have chopped. He would have killed him. Yeah. But he knew Vader was beat. He was beat physically, emotionally. He was done. But like I said, now if the mask doesn't get cut, does he kill him? Does he finish him?
In my opinion, if the mask doesn't get cut, he doesn't know that there's an organic being in there.
Yeah, he's not sure.
Darth Vader, and remember, he's fought other Sith that were basically 90% robotic. So he did before this, and then he did after this again. So during this fight with Vader, he must have assumed. He's 90% robotics. Like, I'm not even really fighting Anakin. And then as soon as he sees his face, he's like, oh shit.
Yep, there's my boy.
Anakin's actually in there.
Yep, there's my boy right there.
And I think that's where it changes from I can't kill this clone, or not clone, but I can't kill this droid. It's actually him.
It's actually him, yeah.
Yeah.
Even still, when he's screaming, I love how he's screaming because he gave Obi-Wan that little gift of, you didn't kill me. This isn't your fault. I did this. This is my fault. He gave him that little gift that Obi-Wan needed. But then he's like, I'm going to destroy you like I destroyed myself. And then the screaming starts. And I thought the scream was great because it was half Anakin, half Vader with the modulation. Obi-Wan! I was like, oh, shit. That was so... I think I rewound that like 3 or 4 times.
That was so good.
To see him scream. So goddamn good. So good. I don't know how they're going to top this as far as... Well, I'm just saying as far as lightsaber fights goes, because this was... Again, I don't like to shit on the Disney films, but their lightsaber fights were garbage. All garbage. There was not one good one in that whole bunch.
It's true.
It's sad to say. Kylo Ren fought like he was going to fall over. Like
Kylo Ren lost the sword fight to Finn, who's never held a lightsaber. True. Also, if you watch Mandalorian, Finn, after one swing, should have been tired and fell to the ground.
That's true. But Finn was technically supposed to be Jedi.
He was force sensitive. Yeah.
He was force sensitive. That was supposed to be revealed, but for some reason they were like, "No, we're not going to reveal that part." We're going to leave that out.
The original script for the third one, and then
when he says to Rey when they were going to die, I have something I have to tell you. What? Yeah. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, he's going to tell her he loves her. He's going to tell her he's gay. No, idiot. He's not going to tell her he's gay. He's going to tell her he's fucking sensitive. You morons.
You really got a thing for Moon Knight.
So now another kind of thing, like I said, where I was worried about getting recognized. Now people are like, well, how come he didn't continue chasing Obi-Wan after this? And we get our answer through Emperor Palpatine, who makes his little cameo debut, which, by the way, I would say the one thing that annoyed me was they didn't put enough makeup on him. It was just like Ian McDermott by himself with a little eye thing. Yeah. I'm like, dude, throw the makeup on.
Or put him in darkness.
Yeah, something. Give him just show his chin. I don't care. We all know, you know.
I don't know. I thought it actually looked really good, especially if you think about the time frame that it was supposed to be in. You know,
well, he's supposed to be freshly burned, really. Well, those 10 years later,
though. 10 years later, and then it's also many years before we see him again, really, in, you know, Empire.
I mean, I didn't hate it. I wasn't totally against it.
I thought he looked pretty cool.
I wanted the full on yellow-eyed, fucking crusty old, you know, Jedi guy. That's why I was looking for it. But he tells Vader, I think your attachment to your own master makes you weak.
Yeah.
Like, I think it makes you nothing. Is this something I have to worry about? And right there, Vader's like, shit. Yeah, like a little kid. I don't care about Obi-Wan. He means nothing to me. I serve you, my man. And right there, that's kind of like that's where he pretty much gave up the chase on Obi-Wan and decides to focus on murdering other Jedi and thousands of other people.
Yes.
Between this movie and then between this show and the next movie. So again, I thought that was a very clever way to kind of, you know, say this is why he hasn't been chasing him and maybe thought he was even dead, like they say in episode 4. Well, Grandma Tarkin said it. Yeah. Well, that's another thing we're going to get to too. But we got to see the goodbye between him and Leia, which again another tearjerker.
Mm-hmm. And another way to kind of retcon something we were talking about last week, which was kind of like, why wouldn't she in the other movies have been like, hey, Ben, like, you know, remember our heyday? Like he says to her, like, you know, you got to kind of keep it on the DL. Like, people are looking for me. They're looking for you. It's just for everybody's safety. We're not going to talk about it. Right. So that kind of almost like that solidified that too, of like, okay, then we're going to keep this adventure on the side here.
And this was also the burst of the Princess Leia that we love. She's rocking the boots. She's rocking the holster, where she fucking puts Lola in it, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, overall, guy, I mean, I think I'm not the only guy. How awesome is this kid who played Leia?
Oh, she's great. She needs her own show.
Oh, my God, that'd be funny. just her bossing people around the castle.
Around the whole show.
Bossing people around that castle of theirs. That'd be pretty funny, actually. Like a little sitcom.
There you go.
Little Leia, the sitcom.
Shoot it in sitcom form.
Oh, the one thing we forget now, well, not forgetting, but we're going to get to now, is there is a whole nother plot line to this goddamn show, which people are already like forgetting about so quickly. Our good friend Reva escaped off the planet in the last episode, shows up on Tatooine, decides to fuck up a bartender for not, you know, some guy from stealing water from someone. It's like, listen, I'm looking for a farmer named Owen.
That was Obi-Wan's boss.
His boy. Yeah, he's like, I need to know with this guy. And so so assuming her again. This is why Reva is a little weird to me. She can't kill Vader, so she wants to go kill his son.
Yeah.
I didn't like this. How
the hell did she even know it was his son, though?
I guess because
the message did not state that. It just said, if there's an issue, I'm going to head to Tatooine and find the boy. That's literally all the recording said. So how the hell did she decipher that into, Vader has a child?
No, he said, the message, what she heard was children, Tatooine, and then Owen.
Yeah, they didn't say shit about Vader. So that's what bugged me about it, was where the hell did she make that connection? Because she did state in the episode, like, I'm going to kill him, like, to get back at him as revenge. And I was like, how the hell does she know that he's his kid? Like, that didn't make any sense to me. Honestly, this whole plot line was stupid as shit. This is what I didn't like about this episode. Mm-hmm. There was no need for it, right? Because it's another one of these problems with prequels, right? Like, we're flashing to a scene where, what's the stakes? Is she gonna kill Owen? We know that ain't gonna happen. Is she gonna kill Luke? We damn sure know that ain't gonna happen. So it's like, so what was the point? Like Reva should have just died in the last episode, and it should have just been done. There was no reason to stretch that out for one more episode so she can kind of do a face turn. Like, there was no reason for it. Like, because she's still irredeemable. She still was a bitch. She was still trying to kill a boy.
Nobody's irredeemable in the Star Wars universe. We watched Anakin hack children to pieces. And he still became a Force ghost.
Well, apparently,
George Lucas is a Catholic. So.
But in this series, if you stab somebody in the stomach, you can live.
Unless you're Qui-Gon.
I guess Qui-Gon should have been on this show because he would have lived. Because everyone else does. But yeah, I thought this whole plot story was. I mean, it was just dumb. It just didn't make any sense.
I think he's taking. I don't know why I'm saying this because it wasn't announced, but it feels like they're gonna make a girl team up at some point with Fennec and all these other chicks that are floating out there kicking ass, like the Mandalorian one.
Oh, I hope not.
And Cara Dune doesn't exist anymore, so they need to like fill a hole somewhere. So just like I called the face turn on the episode of Shooting the Sith with You, I called face turn on this one. I'm going to call a girl show at some point in like 2 years where all these female characters that are like pretty dominant are going to team up.
It'll be like that scene in Endgame where they all we got plenty of help.
If they don't get a show, they're going to get a scene.
Oh, please. Let it go.
But you know what? One thing I wanted to bring up about Reva, because I didn't hate her. I think the only reason Vader let her live is because he hates the Grand Inquisitor. And that's because the Sith are supposed to eliminate each other. It's supposed to be a Shark Tank.
Yeah, but he's not a Sith, though.
Yeah, but everything on the dark side is a Sith.
No, but that's the one thing I was trying to explain.
Either you're dark side or you're a rebel. There's nobody in between. It's like America.
If you got a red lightsaber, you're good.
You know, Inquisitors are like pets. See, the Inquisitors are like pets to them, to him and Sidious. They're not like in other words, like the fact that they could take a Jedi out. I don't think they can, an Inquisitor.
That's why they always send them in
but I'm saying, I don't think the Inquisitor could take an Obi-Wan or a Yoda or a Mace Windu. They can take the lower guys, fine. But Vader will wipe the floor with all five of those. No problem.
All throughout Rebels, Vader was constantly beating the Grand Inquisitor
because he wants to do it himself.
Right,
he do it all himself.
Reva beat him in a fight, so he already looks like a pussy. So he's like, I'm gonna leave this chick around because you're scared of her, and that's good. Maybe she takes you out. Maybe I turn her again and keep her around. I just feel like the Sith are not afraid of bringing anyone on because they think they can turn anyone because they have the dark side, and they're not willing to. They're also willing to just kill anyone because you're soft. If somebody like Reva can come kill the Grand Inquisitor is soft, and I think that's just how They're like the 300 throwing babies off of cliffs.
But I personally would have had Obi-Wan show up there, Reva's there, and then she's just, I would have had the scene where it's like, who is he? Who was the kid? Well, that's Anakin's kid. All right, just kind of like if you're gonna redeem her. Don't have her almost kill Luke and Beru and then just decide, I'm done. Kid fell off a cliff, he's unconscious. All right, I'm done. I instead would have been like Obi-Wan rushes, sees her, what's going on? Who's the kid? Kind of like the way Darth Maul did. Darth Maul, right. Who is this kid the chosen one? Yes, he is. Cool.
Yeah,
and then he dies. He's like, good. I hope this kid kills the Sith one day because they betrayed me. He's right. Yes. All right, cool. And that's it. And they move on. That's what I would have done with that scene, and I would have given Reva to me a little more oomph. I don't know what I call it.
Also kept the poetry along with that Darth Vader scene. I fully agree with you. While I called the face turn, it felt a little too late because if she really wanted to have a face turn, she should have fought with Obi-Wan against Darth Vader, which is what I thought was going to happen. Yeah. And she didn't do that. So it was a poor execution of a face turn. I'm sure you got an example. Give me an example of a poor face turn.
Don't forget she almost tortured Leia to death, like in episode 3. There was no redeeming her. I don't know. They did a horrible job with it. It was like it's kind of good, but no, she's bad. No, oh look, she's good now, but now she's bad again. Like they couldn't make up their mind with her, and I
agree with you guys. While I see why they did it, like I said, I think they're going to do something down the line, and that's the only reason they did it. They would have done better to.
Well, because like you said, though, it's a bad face turn because at the end of the last episode, she hears this message, and you're thinking, oh, she might go help Luke. She might go make sure he's okay.
That's a good face turn.
And then when you get there, she's like, no, I'm going to have to kill this kid. It's like, what?
Exactly.
What?
This was Hogan coming out.
This was a WCW Nitro 2000 fucking plot line. And this didn't make any sense whatsoever. And it was not the greatest night in the history of our sport. It was not. It was pretty bad. But the other, and we'll talk about the other tearjerker moment. It was finally, Ben packs up his little cave because he's getting ready to move out to the Judlin Waste, his new home. He has his T-16 Skyhopper. He stops by. Owen's like, what are you doing here? You said you're going to keep your distance. He's like, I am. You were right. I don't need to be on top of you. You're a good dude. You and Beru got this. Let him be a kid. He's probably also thinking I'm thinking he's like, you have no fucking clue what this kid's gonna do, but he doesn't want to tell Owen that. Like, you have no idea what's gonna happen to this kid in the future, but he's not gonna say that. And then Owen has that I got the chill. Look, the guy got my hair standing up. He turns to Ben and says, "Do you want to meet him?" I was like, I got the look. My hair's standing up. So he's finally like, yes, and Ewan McGregor delivers the famous line, "Hello there."
Hello there.
Hello there. What a... Ugh, I got the chills, dude. I got the chills right now thinking about it. Right now. So, yeah, they have that one, and then we move on to the final moment, which we all predicted. I know I sure as did. Qui-Gon Jinn finally appears. Liam Neeson with kind of a bad wig, but he did look good. He did look just like him. The wig was a little askew on the right side, I saw. But, again, nitpicking. That's all I'm doing is nitpicking.
Can make nobody happy these days.
Exactly. That's just my little nitpick. I was like, I got to fix that wig on the right there. But otherwise, it was great.
Just grow it out, Tim, and make you happy.
But the famous line was back to Qui-Gon. I didn't know you were coming. He's like, I've always been here, dude. You just weren't ready. And it's true because he was living like a hermit for 10 years, no force. Living in sadness, living in guilt, living in this, and finally, it's all gone. And now he's Obi-Wan again. And he's the Obi-Wan that we're going to see in episode 4 or season 2, whatever comes first. So, guys, I mean, what's one of the the Luke scene, Qui-Gon, Don, how did this one hit you in the gut?
Yeah, I mean, great. Like I said, the way this show wrapped up everything from him dropping off Leia, having that discussion,
that part too, I forgot. The whole your mother is this, and your father is this.
Yeah, I did meet your parents, and you are this because of your mom, and you're this because of your dad, and that was beautiful. And
the best part was she's like, I'm good. I don't need to know anymore.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm like, nah. Most kids would be like, yeah, tell me more. And so who the hell are they?
Yeah.
But I love that moment. As, dad myself, my daughter's 8, so I Leia stuff. And then just getting to see Luke, getting to meet him, the hello there. And then of course the Qui-Gon. We were waiting for it the whole damn season. I thought we were going to get it on the ship at one point when it looked like he went before he took off before the fight with Vader. He kind of was like, I think he had even mentioned something about like, I'm trying to communicate with my mentor or something like along those lines. And when he was sitting kind of isolated in the ship, and I thought that was when it was going to happen, and it didn't. And I was like, oh man, they keep teasing it. When's it going to happen? And sure enough, at the end there, it was cool when I saw him standing there and he turned around, and it was just a cool moment because we've been waiting for that for a long time. I mean, that was something I thought we'd get in episode 2, episode 3, like it never really did, and everything else. So that was just a great way to end the episode and kind of bring it full circle.
Rick, how about you? How'd you like it? Oh, keep talking, by the way. I'm going to put this on mute for a second. I have to do something.
All right, guys. For me, there was two. It wasn't that big a deal to me that he was revealed, but I'll tell you what his reveal did do for me. It showed why he didn't go crazy in his isolation. Remember, like when Luke went to meet Yoda and Yoda was batshit crazy?
Yeah.
Yoda was nothing like that in the second trilogy. He was together. He was calculating. He was the leader. You know, he still spoke backwards, but he wasn't like laughing and being like a weird old man. And all those years of isolation on that planet, Yoda was a bit of a weirdo when Luke was hanging out with him. But Ben Kenobi, on the other hand, he had somebody to hang out with in his isolation.
Yeah,
he had somebody to talk to. He had somebody to learn from. And I think that was a big part in, you know, why when we meet Ben Kenobi, when he saves Luke Skywalker, he's not a weird old man joking and laughing at everything.
That's a good point.
So that's the only thing it did for me, because they showed me, I was like, all right, we're going to see him at some point. And then later on, you know, just thinking about the character, I'm like, dude, this is the only reason that this guy kept it together, you know, during this isolation period. But a second thing that I thought was really funny was when Obi Wan gets off the plane and then like Leia sees him.
And she just goes, "Yay, robot!"
It reminded me.
I was like, "You little punk!"
And I have 2 brothers, right? My brother Louis. My daughter loves both my brothers to the end of the earth. But like when they show up at the same time, she sees Louis and she's like, "Uncle Louis." And then she sees Alex, who always has Skittles with him. She's like, "Uncle Alex." And for me, that was exactly the scene. And she saw Obi Wan, and she's like, "Obi Wan," and she's like, like, we get to enjoy it. And that was the childishness of that. I loved it. It was very real. But then I got into like thinking about that scene way too much. And I was like, see, this is why she doesn't even remember his ass when he comes to save her later on.
Yeah.
I was like, this whole thing meant nothing to her.
Well, in Yoda's defense, by the way, he wasn't just batshit crazy. That was all testing Luke's patience and other stuff. It wasn't just him being a lunatic. Some of that was an act. He was like, you know, I got to test this kid's patience, and he failed miserably. If you remember, Luke failed miserably. He had no patience
in the beginning because he didn't even tell him he was Yoda. You know, he was just like, "Oh, I'll take you there." You know,
that was all a test to test this guy's, you know, because he knew Luke wasn't ready. So I'm not gonna say he was batshit. Oh, he's definitely off the rocker, but he wasn't like, you know, a complete moron. He
was crazy like a fox.
Yeah, of course. But I just consider that more of like a test. And Luke failed miserably because that's all Luke did was fail in that movie.
Yes.
Until the end.
Let's just bring it up. Is it weird to anyone else that Anakin was too old at like 6 years old and Luke was like a 20-year-old virgin and they welcomed him with open arms?
Of course it was weird. Well, there's a difference between when you have 10,000 Jedi. This kid's too old. He can't do this. We don't need him. But when you're down to 1 Jedi, like, dude, we fucking take anybody we can get at this point.
Well, and we know the bloodline, so
especially the chosen ones.
Tribal chief.
At that point, they were a softball team with
like acknowledge me.
They needed war bodies.
It's like, you're not allowed in this club. Wait, what's your last name? Oh, come on in, Mr. Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly.
We have your table ready. So I think it's a little different than that. Yeah, well, got any. I mean, again, like I said, if you're ranking this show, let's give it what stars? How many stars are you giving this show out of 5? Let's say 5.
I'd
What do you
give it
guys
a
think?
4. I'd give it a good 4 out of 5, just because when it hit, and there was no episode that was horrible to me to bring it way down. It wasn't
I agree.
perfect, but I think a solid 4, man. Especially because like I said, when it hit and it gave us moments in almost every episode, something to really grab onto. It nailed it. So I mean, it was a fun ride, especially that finale alone is a 5-star banger in its own right. So if you average that out, I would go for it.
I agree. Rick, what about you?
I saw a lot of people unenthusiastic about this show, and it's just weird.
A lot.
It's just weird. Every episode was good. Everybody did a good job.
It's society these days, man.
That's fine. In a baseball game, there's foul balls and strikeouts, but it's still a good game, And like with this, I felt the same way. Are they things that they could have did better? Yeah, but that's my opinion. Everybody got one.
Yeah,
I think they did a really good. I think they did a really good job with this show. I think fucking blasphemy, but I'm going to say it, and I hope Ed Camus and Jason Pachetic hear me. I think Star Wars is in a better place now than the MCU is.
Really?
I feel like the MCU going
we'll
off.
have to do another episode just on that.
I'm just going to say it like that. I'm just going to throw that out there.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to have a Shootin' the Sith Granny's crossover episode where we're going to get them two on. And I just want you to repeat that so I can see their faces. Ed's face when you say it.
I'm just saying, Obi Wan was better than Miss Marvel as a show so far.
Oh, yeah. Miss Marvel, it's just for kids. That's Miss Marvel's problem. It's for kids.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Grogu was aimed at kids too. How did that work out? Everybody fucking loved it.
Dude, Grogu's maybe aimed towards kids, but every adult in the world loves that little fucker.
That's called right.
I have a life-size fucking doll of him in my bedroom right now.
I do too.
So, everybody loves that little bastard. So I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So what are you at, Rick? 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars?
Sorry, I went on a rant there. Forgot to answer.
No, that's fine.
I'm considering the timeline and where we're at. I'm at 4 stars, super confidently, and they could have been at 5 stars if they had a post-credit scene where Reva just pops up and then beheads Jar Jar Binks.
Oh.
Stop with the Jar Jar hate.
I'm just saying. You want to make it a 5 out of 5. Reva, Jar Jar's head off. But 4 out of 5 for sure.
I'm going to get a Jar Jar tattoo just for you now, Rick.
You better put it on your eyes so I can smack you when I see it.
Yeah, I'm going to go 4, 4.5 easily. I said I had a few, like everyone else bitched about it, but again, it's little. There was a few special effects things that kind of threw me off. I was like, that doesn't look real or doesn't look correct. But other than that, you take away Reva's arc. And I don't hate her, the character, but her arc was a little weird. And her story was a little weird. Her plot was a little weird. You fixed that, it's a 5-star show all the way.
Agreed.
Easily. That arc. Yeah, but that arc is the only thing keeping it from being perfect for me. That's the only thing. Everything else that people are bitching about, people got to get lives, man. I mean, really. There's so much Leia hate. Oh, well, another Leia episode. Dude, the kid was phenomenal. The kid was better than Jake Lloyd was. I'm not trying to knock on Jake Lloyd either. I feel bad for him, but I'm saying she was fantastic.
Like he didn't kill it and Jingle All the Way.
Right. Like in the episode where get me a ladder, do what I say. Obi-Wan's like, dude, fucking do what the girl says. She was pimping that episode.
Yeah.
Giving orders.
One bad chase scene and they try to throw her under the bus.
Yeah, that one stupid. But that was just a whole bad scene. That was
they try to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's one bad chase scene. Leave her alone.
I'll never let them live down that chase scene.
If you look carefully,
over the branch there. If only I could get over the branch. You're lucky.
Yeah, there's so many TikTok videos and videos of that copying
people reenacting it.
Reenacting, just stopping because of a tree. Oh no. I can't get her now.
Can't get her.
Yeah, that was so great.
Or them running uberly slow just because she's so tiny. So they're like,
I mean, Flea was with them. They might have been on a lot of drugs.
Maybe they're moving in slow. A lot of spice. They were doing a lot of spice.
Yeah, they looked at Leia, but we have no idea what they were seeing.
Is that kid moving fast? Really fast or really slow? We can't tell.
They might have been chasing an Ewok in their eyes.
It's the only thing that would make that better.
All right, well, we're going to wrap it up. The next show that we have coming down the pike is Andor, which I am about, and I hope they change my mind. I keep saying that, change my mind. I'm just not a fan of the character. Yeah. So as far as getting his own show, I'm not a Rebel Alliance guy. I'm an Empire guy. So, but of course I'm going to watch every episode. I'm going to check out every episode. We also got Bad Batch season 2 coming soon. This year, Mandalorian's going to be early next year. Tales from the Jedi is coming this year. Animated. Are you going to watch that one, Don? I know you're not an animated guy, but you got to watch Young Qui-Gon with Count Dooku.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it probably depends on what the episodes are and how long they are. I can't remember if that was the one that's actually shorts, because one of them are supposed to be shorts. So
I think is it that one? I'm not sure if it's that one or not.
I think it's the Tales from the Jedi. That's the shorts. Yeah. So those will be easy to digest.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. All right, guys. Any final words about Obi-Wan or anything else Star Wars related before we sign off for today? Rick?
No, man. Good to see you right back.
Everybody listening, you don't need to watch every Rebels episode. Most of them are heist episodes. Go to any top 10 list or look up Osaka. I was going to call her Osaka again. Ahsoka and Darth. Go back and watch those episodes. Trust me, do yourself a favor. There's nothing else coming out. So it's like, consider it brand new material because it's brand new to you. But yeah, anyone listening or watching, I'd suggest go back and watch those Rebels episodes. You'll love it. Trust me.
Donnie's talking to you, Don.
I know. I'll have to check it out. I definitely want to see the fight that you were talking about and see how close. I know I've heard a lot of people say that the fight in this was very similar to one of the fights on the animated series. So
Twilight of the Apprentice. You don't need to watch any other episodes. You can just go watch that one.
I will recommend you another fight that happened on Rebels. Darth Sidious versus Darth Maul and Savage Press. 2-on-1. Fucking outstanding lightsaber fight. Because this is the first time Sidious sees Maul and Maul sees Sidious. And he Maul's like, master, and he's like, dude, you're fucking weak. And he wipes out, he kicks the shit out of both. This is where you see Darth Sidious do his thing, which I'm also a big fan of. So I highly recommend that one. That's on YouTube easily. You can pop that one up with no problem.
Yeah.
So Don, you have any final remarks?
I mean, that's what we got, man. I mean, it was a fun ride. It was great to see Ewan McGregor back. It was great to see Vader back. Great to see Hayden back. Like, it was just fun, man. It was a lot of fun, and they really, most shows these days seem to not be able to stick the landing, and I think they were able to stick the landing with this one. So really, really brought it home. So
give us a quick rundown for Am I on the Air coming up soon?
Yeah. So like I said, every Monday night, if you're a fan of pop culture, entertainment stuff, Am I on the Air? Always reviewing the latest movies, TV shows, and then of course all the news on a week-to-week basis. So I get you caught up with everything that's going down in the world of television and movies. So check it out, amiontheair.com. Also available right here in Pop Culture Pro. And every Monday night, new episode drops. So follow on all the socials at Am I on the Air, all one word. And you can follow me directly at DXDonMega on Twitter.
Sweet. Rick, you said it's coming.
Yes.
Give us a rundown.
Coming on the pipe. Should be about the next week or two. You can follow us on Facebook. You can also follow us on IG. It's OL 30 Podcasts. Should have some episodes up in the next week or two. Keep an eye out for that. I'm sure I'll be blasting them when they are complete.
And what's it about? Give us a little rundown.
Yeah.
Old Dirty Podcast is a combat-based show. It was originally MMA based. Then I went to a bare knuckle fight and I fell in love with it. So we're going to cover everything combat. But it's also everything combat as well as combat culture. So, we'll be talking about the fights that are going to be coming up. We'll be talking about fights that have happened. Sometimes we'll just have fantasy fights and just discuss that. But in the same vein that we're going through that, we're going to go culture too. So there will be music on the show. There will be comic book references. There will be, cartoon references, Star Wars references. There'll be all sorts of references. So I will be reaching out to anyone if I'm swimming in their pond. So expect it to be. It's not going to be a long form show. Episodes will be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe. It'll be very to the point, but it'll be very entertaining. And it'll be just like it sounds, the Old Dirty Podcast. So while it is combat based, it can be anything from week to week.
Awesome. We're looking forward to it. I am available to guest on both your shows. Just let me know when. Yes, that's soon. And don't forget, we also have a lot of shows that, on this show. We have the Just Too Sweet show starring myself and Eric. It's Everything Wrestling. We've got Granny's Peach Tea, comic book, movies, and TV. That's Ed and Jason. Empire 161. You like the Yankees? That's the show you should watch with Ed and Eric's not here. Eric's here. We never say her name. We never because it's a joke because Eric forgot her name, so he called her Broomhilda one day or Agnes. So the whole bit now is we never say her name correctly. So I always say Empire wants to what Eric. What's her name? He'll say Susan or Aggie or something crazy. So well, anyway, that's about the New York Yankees. Put it in the book show with Farachi, Keith, and Rodriguez. That's a run. The A to Z program with Eric and me. He's kind of like the late night talk show guy. So we have these shows coming up. We have new shows getting ready to be announced coming very soon. Skyline of Views, all about Disney with Ashley and Gabby. Watch that one. What am I missing? I don't know what I'm missing. Anyway, go to popculturepros.com. Follow us there. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all your audio-based things. We are all over the place. Share us, like us, love us. If not, go fuck yourself. I don't care. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Remember, do or do not. There is no try.